Hello everyone and welcome back to Winter 89 Colors. This is another impromptu piece. I decided to just start recording this because somebody basically requested it. My dear friend Emily noticed that I do use homemade glitter glue, quote unquote, a lot. And she mentioned in one of the comments that she'd like to know how I make it. So I thought I would show you my process. It is really simple and I highly recommend it. So I'm voiceovering this because I was in no way prepared for this video. I just sort of threw my camera on and started recording myself doing what I normally do. So I decided to pick a picture in Camellia Angelkova's 50 Vacation Miniatures. I haven't touched this book yet, so I thought this would be a great way to start the book, but also show you guys the process that I go through. So, I decided to do, because of the flamingo and everything, I decided that this video would be, or the color theme, should I say, is going to be pink. I'm not going to do the whole picture for you. I'm just going to show you the "this book belongs to" part, because that's the part that I'm going to use glitter on. So, I'm going to be using a clear, like icicle style glitter. I decided right before this video. I just kind of came to it. So, it's going to look a little different than some of the other glitter glues that you've seen from me. Like, for example, the one that I used in 50 Farmers Miniatures was a little bit different because it was a dark, like slate colored glitter, so it was pretty opaque. This one's going to be really, really clear and not so opaque. You're going to be able to see underneath it, so that's why I'm basing it with alcohol marker first in the color that I want. This is also a glitter that I often use for snow and ice and crystals and things like that because it is very, very, easy to see through, and you can see everything underneath it. It doesn't really block whatever you're trying to do. So I'm basing this using an Ohuhu alcohol marker R14 pale purple. It's actually like a really bright pink. I don't know why they call it pale purple, but here we are. So I'm going to base this, and then I'm going to show you right on camera me mixing up my products and getting started on the glitter part. So I'm actually kind of glad that I recorded this alcohol part. I don't know why I did, but it worked out because I had time to give an intro and tell you what's going to be going on in this video. So I'm going to just chat my way through pretty much the whole thing, talking about coloring related stuff, mostly my glitter glue obsession, but yeah, if there's any gaps, I'll try to fill them in with something so that this is not a silent video by any stretch of the imagination. So, as you can see, these markers are super juicy, and I've had them for quite a long time, so I'm trying to stay away from the edges because this paper just soaks it up. But yeah, I do get out of the lines just a little bit in some places, but that's fine. Like, you really don't see it that much. Yeah, you can see at the bottom of the E there, it's a little bleedy, but that's okay. All right, so now I am gathering my supplies. So I've got my gloss medium intended for acrylic paint to help make it glossier, and then I've got some loose glitter here, and that's my snow glitter, as you can see. So I'm going to start mixing this up. I'm going to do it on camera as much as possible. So as I told Emily in the comments, it is easy enough to do this. All you have to do is put some gloss medium in a container, a reasonable amount. You're going to always waste because you have to make a little more than you really need in order to get the consistency right. And you can make it a lot of different consistencies depending on what kind of look you're going for. In this video, I'm going to show you, I'm going to use the chunky consistency, as I call it, and that's a silicone brush. I usually use it for putting on masking fluid and things like that, but it also works really, really well for doing these glitter glues because you can just peel it off once it's dry, and you can just, you don't have to worry about trying to wash it out of your brush. Because this does dry fast based on the amount of glitter I put in it. It does dry very, very quickly. So if you used a bristle brush, it would probably ruin the brush. You can see I keep putting more in, trying to get the consistency the way I want it. And you see how the silicone really scrapes up that product and keeps it nice and clean, right? You're not spreading it all over the place and wasting it. Yeah, so It's going to be, I should have chosen a better color of glitter to show you so that you could see a little bit easier instead of a clear glitter, but you'll get the idea nonetheless. If you want to see it with a colored glitter, let me know and I will do another video on it, but it's pretty simple. You just mix it, mix it, mix it until it's at a workable consistency. For me, sometimes I like it chunky because then I know I'm going to get a really hefty layer of glitter, and less medium, more glitter. That's what we're going for here. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. So you can do this if you want to work with something that's a little easier to work with. You can make it thinner, so you can just add less glitter to your medium and it will be easier to paint on. However, in that case, I do recommend that you do several layers. So if your paper can take it, then several layers is best. But I'm lazy. I only just want to do it once. So I leave it real chunky. There's barely any medium, and I just, it's not even painting at this point. It's more like working with a clay substance. You kind of have to just push it into the paper and make it stick. It is a bit tedious to work with at this consistency because it is chunky and it sticks to the brush, and it's very, it's a bit of a pain. But the nice thing is I only have to do it once. It leaves enough glitter behind that it sticks, and it dries really, really fast, so I can get back to coloring the rest of the page. Now, of course, normally I would probably do this last as opposed to doing it first, but because I wanted to record this video before I got too involved in anything, I decided to do it first. It doesn't really matter. Again, it dried in about 15 minutes because I used so little medium and so much glitter. It took almost no time to dry whatsoever. So, I'm sitting here and I've already colored the sloth and the flamingo since just waiting for this to upload to the cloud so that I could voice over it. But yeah, so I guess this is a little bit more insight into not only my glitter glue, but also my general thought process and my editing process. So I am a self-taught person. I have never edited anything ever in my life. I have taken no computer courses, etc. I'm just figuring this out as I go. I took recommendations on software, and it's been working out for me pretty well so far. Actually, it was Karen at My Colorful Country Life who told me about the software she uses, and so I took her advice and I started using this one. It does cost money. It is not a free program, as you can see by the lack of ads, but it makes the editing process pretty darn easy, and it's really intuitive, so I don't have to put too much work into the actual editing. I mean, obviously editing is, and I consulted an expert on this actually. I have a friend who went to school for computer sciences, and he has lots of friends in the tech world. So he contacted a friend of his who is a YouTuber and has been for many, many years, and put me in contact with her. And she said, basically, when I was like, am I doing this wrong? Like, is there an easier way to do all this editing? And her response was basically, nah, man, it just sucks. If it's any easier, you're probably doing it wrong. Like, it takes time and effort to do this editing, and that's probably it's going to take as long to edit it as it is to film it, if not longer. So just buckle in and do your best. And that's kind of where we're at now. Now I realize that editing is not a quick process. There's no shortcuts to it. You just get the best software you can and try to stay on top of it. So I'm finding that this process of editing and stuff, I have ups and downs with it because you have to have some concentration. You have to be ready to take it on. It's not the kind of thing that you can go into lightly. It takes a lot of concentration. You've got to pay attention to the video second by second as it's going by while you're editing, and it's a process. So if I'm not in a good mental space, I certainly don't do it. I simply do not go through the editing or filming process because it's not good for my mental health to be pushing myself into something so tedious and concentrative when I don't have the space for it. So you got to be kind to yourself and realize that, like, I'm sure even professional editors have problems where they have to just sit back and go, nope, we're not doing it today, because it does take all that energy in order for you to do it. So so I appreciate people like Karen from My Colorful Country Life who go through so much editing. Like there has to be an incredible amount of editing that goes into hours and hours of video that she does. She, you know, she puts up the name of the pencil on the screen, and that, you know, you have to do that all by hand. It's not like there's some magical AI machine that that'll pick up on that. You have to go through and put that in, type it in manually, and, you know, make sure it's going for as long as it's supposed to go, stopping at the right place. So I don't know if she does that all herself or if she has an editor that helps her, but holy smokes, I have so much appreciation for her and the videos that she brings us. So thank you, Karen. But yeah, so back to the glitter glue, you can see I'm just kind of dabbing it in. I'm constantly just moving it around, because as soon as you stop moving it, it's going to set. It's going to set so bad, and it's going to be stuck there. So you got to make sure that you're paying attention to it, that you keep moving it around. You'll see in a couple of places, because we're so zoomed in, you'll be able to see that, like, I try to clean it out, but it's already dried. Like on that L there, you just saw there's some sticks, some bits of glitter that are outside the lines because I didn't get to it fast enough. I didn't clean it off fast enough. So that's going to happen if you're using it as thickly mixed as I use it. If you want to put it on a little bit thinner, you know, like I said, use more medium, less glitter. It'll be a little more forgiving. You can wipe it off a little bit easier. Yeah, the medium will stick, but the glitter will not. So again, depending on how confident you are with these things, how confident you are with your tools, you know, you have to make your choices based on your abilities and your, you know, how much time you have, because this is not one of those things that you can stop and come back to later. You, like, once you commit to glittering something, you know, you don't have much time to get it all down there. If you stop, it's all going to dry. Your product's all going to dry up. You're going to have to mix up a whole new batch, and that just seems wasteful to me. Like, I'm looking at the batch I made for this video, which, like I said, was probably half an hour ago, and it's all dried up in any of the spots where it's slightly thinner. There's a big chunk of it right in the corner where it's still gooey, but like anything that's been sitting away from that chunk, it's all dried up. And I'm going to have to peel it up out of the container, scrape it out, which is fine. It's much easier to deal with that way. Just throw it in the garbage afterwards. But yeah, it does dry quickly, so be aware when you're working with it that you have to move. You can't sit idle. You can't stop and think about it. You've got to just keep that product moving. It's kind of like masking fluid in that way, in that, like, any, you know, as soon as it comes into contact with the air, it's gonna start to chunk up and dry. So make sure you're just constantly moving with it. I did forget to do the 2 little dots here, but I did them after, once I turned the camera off, so don't worry about that. But otherwise, you'll see once I move it in the camera, it really, really shines. All right, here we go. I think we're gonna show you now. Yep. Oh yeah, look at all that shine. So depending on where the light is, yeah, that's a really thick layer of clear glitter. So have a good day, folks. Thanks for watching.